Ruphi Curls, inspiring black girls all over the world to fall in love with their natural hair.
Why this book and why a handbook? Because I think that there's something in calling it a handbook.
Yes, absolutely. So this started long ago, but at the time when the inspiration came, I was looking into doing an app, just trying to think, how in the world can I offer support to people to just believe that we can do this, that we can have our hair, that we can love it, that we can enjoy it. And I just kept thinking, I just kept praying about it. And one day I was listening to something and he said that we might not, you're asking a lot of people what they need. They might not be able to sort of say what they need. And I just had this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it was a case of, okay, the inspiration came through Henry Ford. If Henry Ford had asked people, what do they want? They would have said faster horses. And so the inspiration might come in a different way. It might not be something that we already know about. And then it was a case of, what am I trying to achieve here? We're trying to have people to have a mindset shift, a change. And what brings about that? Just believing, having those words to believe. And I was back and forth and back and forth. And suddenly I started writing. I just started writing. I just kept on writing. And with every word that I wrote, I went back to when I was little, everything I heard, everything I saw, everything I had read, everything I had studied, my own cosmetology, making people's hair, making my children's hair. And that everything, hot combs, everything came to mind. Perm, relaxes, weaves, wigs, the whole work, everything came to mind as I wrote. And that's where this was birthed, really.
Okay, but why a handbook? I mean, because a handbook is different. So we've had loads of books in the black hair community. Loads. It seems as if there's one, at least every 6 months now. What intrigued me about yours was it's a handbook, which suggests to me that it's a lot more practical than just the theory. So, sorry guys, if you're just joining the live, I am speaking to Anna, who's the author of Black Hair Belief Handbook. If you notice that her picture isn't quite picturing, or her image isn't quite imaging, it's because we've had a lot of technical difficulties. So please just bear with us. You can see me nice and clearly, but I promise you we're going to have a fascinating conversation. So a handbook is something a lot more practical, right?
Yeah.
So take us back. You've got girls. How have you managed their hair? What sets you apart? If you're joining this live, this is not going to be a cutesy live. This is going to be a quite direct live from me this evening. We're short on time now. I also prefer a direct approach, if I'm very honest. And the topic itself lends itself to some directness. So I am going to be direct. So please, I'm not going to fluff around the edges. If you are very sensitive, this may come across as a little bit brash sometimes from me, not Anna. Anna will remain lovely forever. But it may come across as a bit brash from me, but I need to be direct with you. And I will tell you why. The Coco Garth thing is still in my mind and is still very much annoying. And I feel that we do need to have a real conversation with our community. So Anna, tell me, what has been your guiding approach to your children? So maybe tell us a bit about your children, the age when you started healthy hair care practices, and why. What differentiates you? You've written a book that I know will be hugely successful, that will really help some people. But before we got here, you had to transform your girl's hair. And I'll say that. Let me tell you why I'm saying that. There are loads of people that make noise in this space that haven't achieved anything,
Mm.
but they make a lot of noise. I think there is something that needs to be said for somebody who has walked a particular path, who has achieved a level of success with their children's hair, telling us about what we should be taking into consideration.
Yeah.
Experience counts for a lot, not just clickbait noise, right? So I want you, and because of that, I need people to understand that you are coming from somewhere. You're not just, you just didn't think hot black hair is hot, natural hair is a hot topic, let me
Yeah.
write a book.
Yeah.
You've walked a journey. So talk us through that journey.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, TC, that you say that. I just didn't think, oh, this is a hot topic. Let's talk about it, because I am the least person that wants to be here talking about this. I saw it, and I saw it as something that can make a difference to the community, and I felt in my spirit that this was something that I needed to bring out to the community. How in my own life, in my own walk, I had never seen hair of a 10-year-old all the way down her back as I brushed it. And at that point, I thought, what are you doing, girl? Why would you not share this with the rest of the world? But of course, as we all know, how do you put children out there? It's very difficult to put children on social media and all of that. And that was a turning point where I had to start discussing with family members. I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about this? But anyway, I'll go right back to your question. And I don't think I can talk about their journey without first talking about my journey. You know, my journey started when I was little, and I would be in front of the TV. I'll watch the media, and I will, see people around me who had permed their hair, and I'll try and sleek my hair back. I'm trying to see how does it look when it's flat and straight, because I wasn't allowed to perm my hair till I was 16. Anyway, come the time I was allowed to perm my hair, I did perm my hair. And I think it must have been straight away I noticed that, oh, this hair is limp. It's yeah, yeah, no, this doesn't compare to what I had on my head before that perm. But of course, everybody was doing it. So I thought, yeah, let's keep on, let's do it. I can have the hair straight. But the more I had it, the more I hated it. Of course, I went on and I did braids, and any Lagosians here will know that, up under the Obalende Bridge. To
I
do
never did
like
under the bridge, but yeah, I know the bridge.
yeah, to do braids, and then it was weave-ons, and then later it was wigs. And I must admit, I was always irritated. I was always irritated because I'm quite an active person. So the braids made me hot. The weave-ons were itchy on my neck. The wigs shifted. I was just always discontent. 3 times I cut my hair. This is the third time I'm cutting my hair. The first 2 times I just didn't know what to do with it, but I know that I want to be free, you know. Anyway, fast forward, when I was moving to the UK, I thought, okay, when I two things. I thought I may have girls someday. It'll be good for me to know how to touch hair. I had never really touched my own hair much. I had never really known much about my own hair. So I went to Opera Benson School of Cosmetology. It was close to Unilag. It was in Sabo, Yaba. So I learned how to make hair. I learned about the science of hair. I learned all of that. And then I came to the UK, and the first 2 years or so I was making, people's hair. I don't know if any of my former clients are on this call now. I was just making people's hair, braids, weave-ons, and all of that business. Anyway, with my own hair, I continued to feel that discontent. So a few years before having my children, maybe around the time I got married or so, I went and I started to ask myself some questions. And it was, there are Black American ladies, very Black ladies, that have good Black hair. So what are they doing differently to me, to us? So I went on YouTube and I binged. I binged for days. I binged for months. And I looked at techniques and I combined it to my own cosmetology and I looked into everything. And then I started on my hair. And then I loved it. It was beautiful. I was doing the co-washes and I was just really, really enjoying my own hair. So when the children came along, when the girls came along, first and foremost, I must admit, when I was pregnant, because of this hair business, at that point, I suddenly started praying, oh, I hope I have a boy. But it was a bit too late, right? But lo and behold, I got myself two girls. When they came about, I let their hair be. I would just co-wash it. I would put leave-in conditioner and oils, and that was it. Of course, my mom and a lot of people are, what's wrong with you? Why is this hair like that? Why are you just leaving this children's hair like that? Why is it not plaited? Why is this not this? Why is this not that? And of course, trust me, the rebel in me, I didn't listen. I just felt that children's hair should not be pulled, should not be held, should not be tugged at for a certain period of time. I believe that, and that was what I followed. So the first 2 to 3 years or so, I just let their hair be. So around the time they were 3, I started to simply twist it. I would, co-wash it again, simply twist it and let it be. Just let it be. Just do the same thing over and over again. I wasn't doing very much to it, just letting it breathe. It'll stay in the style for about a week. We'll wash it in 2 weeks or whatnot. It'll go back into the twist. Because it wasn't twist, it didn't need a lot of detangling, which was great. Again, because it wasn't twist, because it was being co-washed as well, the conditioner would tend to detangle as well, the little bit of tangle it had in. So we were extremely satisfied. I don't wash it, by the way. My husband, I don't help them wash, by the way. My husband helps them wash, and then I help them, do their twist, moisturize and do the twist. So yes, that's how it
That's
came about.
lovely. Sorry. So, okay, I think that you naturally came to a great end there. It's actually quite lovely because there are not that very many women that I have coached through my hair course that says that the husbands wash the hair. Certainly, I've not had many men join. I've not had any men joining my hair course. So that naturally sets your family aside in a very positive way in terms of the your husband also getting involved in the children's hair, and I think going forward that's one of the things that I will be nudging people towards. So right, you started with your own journey with your own hair. There were two things that you said, or one thing that you said that stood out for me actually, which is that you didn't love relaxed hair. And I think a lot of people think that people choose not to have relaxed hair because they're scared of, the dangers, whatever it is that you've read. But I also want you to, guys who are listening, to remember that some people don't actually like relaxed hair. And I share exactly that sentiment, because I felt that my relaxed hair always looked exactly as you described, limp. And
Yeah.
that's because I have thin hair. Now, there was something else that you said about your children's hair that also stood out to me. It's the simplicity, the basicness, and the simplicity in how you cared for it. Now, many of you, because I know some of you are here who have been on my hair course, will know that my number one mantra is simplicity.
That's right.
And as early as even last month, I was telling you, well, yeah, last month I did a post on how I grew my hair long, and I stressed simplicity. And in stressing simplicity, I touched on something that you just said, which is week in, week out, no matter how bored I felt, I stuck with two strand twists, which
Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
even now
Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
hair, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
stuck with two strand twists, and
Yeah.
this was me for like 3 years. See, all the styles that you see me doing, even now, with putting gel, and I did none of that when I was trying to grow out my hair. Now I'm a little bit more relaxed and I take a little bit more risks, and I think people should enjoy their hair. I noticed that you've also got dyed hair, and we'll probably come to that. So, and we'll come to that because I want to see people enjoy their hair, and that's why we're going to come to that. So you successfully grew your children's hair out.
Yeah.
The second thing that you said was in the early days, because you were talking about the very, very early days, you did something that I also leaned into as well, which was I followed some OGs on YouTube.
Yeah.
And those OGs still remain dear to my heart till today.
Yeah.
And I will always, always shout them out.
Yeah.
You immersed yourself in the knowledge, you picked up on the knowledge, you stuck with simplicity. What was the reaction from the community? Because we all have community, whether it's in church, whether it's friends, whether it's family. What was the reaction? I think you already touched on one or two reactions, but I'm asking what the reaction was because some people will have to rise above some of the things they're hearing.
Yeah.
To actually get their children's hair to the point in which they want. Yeah. So what were some of the reactions and how did you adjust your mindset, or how did you address things?
Yeah, I think at the very start, before I actually started doing the twist, the reaction was always like, oh, why are you not getting the hair made? What's happening here? Why is the hair not made? And to be honest with you, I was quite happy to explain to people that, that's just how we want to leave it. I don't think that children's hair should be tucked at and pulled and put into any sort of style whatsoever while their scalps are still tender.
Yes.
And I was appalled the other day to hear that they now have child relaxers. What? Chemicals on children's hair?
Oh no, they've always had child relaxers.
Oh, I didn't know about it. Maybe because I just couldn't fathom the idea of chemicals on children's.
Oh no, I thought you were going to say weaves for toddlers.
Yes, a friend of mine was talking about that today, but yeah,
that's what's new. Okay, so but there's something. But yeah, there's something.
But going on to the twist. Interestingly, I must admit, when we did start doing the twists, it looked quite nice. Two-strand twist actually looks nice. And because I felt that it looked nice, I would at the time I didn't know that that was what I was doing, but eventually I came to understand. I would hold it at the roots with the scrunches, with the bubbles, and that actually stretched it. But actually what was happening at that time is that it gave it a bit of color, it gave it a nice look. So I would hold it at the roots, twist it, and sort of then hide the ends when they didn't need it. And then when they were going to parties or going to church, I would make it into another style, or the twist will be sort of come down. So the reaction at that time, because don't forget, by the time I came to twist the hair when they were 3, it was already quite long.
So let me stop you. Okay, so let me stop you there, because I know some people who have been on my hair course here would say that I didn't allow them to put bubbles and rubber bands at the base of their children's hair.
No rubber bands, no.
And yes, I still do not want you to put rubber bands, etc., at the base of your children's hair. Now, for me, there are different stages, obviously, with children, right? You've got the very, very newborn, where I don't even think you should be doing anything to their hair, apart from just washing it, putting a little bit of oil, maybe, just keep it very simple.
Living condition.
And then there is, when they hit 3, to me, so if you look at the science of their scalp, it's still growing and it's still developing up until 5 and above sometimes. And the hair itself, it's still prone to changes. The thing that sets you apart, however, from maybe an ordinary, using the term loosely, mom, is your background in cosmetology, hairstyling. So I think that perhaps it would have been easier for you to twist in a way in which it looks nice. Styling is a big issue when people come on my hair course. They don't know how to style hair. They don't know how to style their children's hair. They're quite particular about how they want the children's hair to look. And without that skill, it may not look as nice, right? The thing that I say often to, and it's often moms that I have to say to, who is your children's hair performing for? As long as the hair is clean and it's neat, why does it need to perform? Because it's not the child. A 3-year-old is not complaining about how her hair is presenting. It's often the world's gaze, the community's gaze. But why should that be more important than the health of the child's hair?
Absolutely. And I will say something to that. So looking at your hairstyle today, for instance, it looks absolutely stunning. It looks gorgeous. I love it. I really,
and it's just washed. So
can you imagine? I love it. And this is what I'm trying to say. Whatever it is that you do decide to do to the hair, if you already have it in you, which most of my wonderful Nigerian sisters do, and my African sisters, if you already have it in you, sort of fashion and, whatever, however you put it, it works.
It works.
So I did something that I felt was nice looking to me, but whatever is nice looking to you, you're right, it works for the child. And that's how they grow. And every week when you make that hair, when you do that hair, you guys will find another way, you'll find another style, you'll find however to do it. Yes, maybe the basic thing you need to learn is how to twist, but twist must surely be the simplest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
My daughters are twisting their hair now. Twist.
Can I say something? You're right. Twist is the simplest thing to do in the world. I've just washed my hair today. It's not even fully dry yet. And I have just put my hair in maybe 6 chunky twists.
Yeah.
But the reason you think it looks decent is because my hair is healthy.
Yeah.
Any child's hair that is healthy will look good in the simplest of hairstyles.
Absolutely.
It is when and this is where some of us find ourselves in a catch-22 situation. The child's hair, you've not invested enough energy into its health. And when I say its health, I mean washing on a regular basis, whether it's every 1 week or every 2 weeks or every 10 days. Conditioning, using the simplest of products and putting it in the simplest of styles. That's all your child's hair needs.
Yeah.
But because you've not invested even that, and instead what you've done is you put it in braids, you put it in intricate styles, cornrows with hair added, that child's hair is not healthy. And when that child's hair is not healthy, the simplest styles don't look good.
Absolutely.
It is that simple.
Yeah. So what I found out in our journey was that we try the cornrows, we tried the 3-strand braids, and we tried many twists, like maybe when you have up to, I don't know, 15 to 20 twists.
Yeah.
And what my daughters and I discovered is that they tangle the hair a lot more. So they said, oh, it's fine, mommy, you can do the 6 to 8 twists. We don't need to do any more than that, because we do not want to be dealing with very tangled hair. That's just us in our family. Now, if you're up for, small twist and you're happy with the detangling process, then definitely fine. Go for it. That's fine for you. But in our house, when we take out the twist, we get the twist out that we like with the 6 or 8 twist. We get the look that we like. We're happy with it all the time. So the question was, why are we doing more if we don't need to do more? I'm very passionate, and this is something that I've actually gotten even from my Caucasian friends. Just rolling with the punches as it has to do with our hair. Just go with it. For instance, if you can't wash today, then you wash it tomorrow. there's no stress. There's no I have to wash it now. If you think about it, what we're doing now, our friends of other races, their parents pass this down to them. They do it
Absolutely.
effortlessly. I mean, I have a story. There's this girl. We went for a swim party. My daughter's friend went for a swim party, and her mom is white. She's Caucasian, and her dad is Zambian. And this girl in the changing room, after swimming, she had washed her hair quickly. I saw her, she had brought out some cantu tubey thing she had on her. She had put it in her hair. She had blow dried. This child is 9 years old, by the way. She had blow dried her hair, and her hair is kinky, proper kinky. I've watched the hair. I've seen it shrink before. I've seen all of that. She had brushed the hair. She had put it in a quick bun. She was off to have her party food. She was off to have her party food already, because she has no hang-ups about her hair. She has no hang-ups whatsoever.
And
She's
somebody
not
has taught
she's
her
not
to deal with
learned.
her hair. Now
Exactly.
there's
She's just
something
watched her mom deal with her hair.
exactly. So there's something that you said that also reminded me of something that somebody else said many years ago, and it stuck with me. And they said and this is where maybe as a Black community we need to be very honest with ourselves and need to understand that the old ways are not serving our children now, and we need to learn new ways that will give them hair that they're confident in. And that person said, when our counterparts, our Caucasian counterparts, were learning to deal with their hair, we were learning to put it away.
Yeah.
So when they were being taught and being shared skills to help them manage their hair, we were being taught that we need to do something to alter it, whether it's a perm or putting it in braids.
Well, we are. It's ongoing, isn't it? We are
And it is
being taught.
ongoing.
It's ongoing.
And it is ongoing. And that in itself hinders the child's ability to learn how to handle their hair. If you're putting your child's hair in braids most of the time, how are they going to learn to manage it?
Absolutely.
Guys, I know that some of you are dropping questions. Please start dropping the questions. We're going to come to the questions in a minute. But what I want us to, before we come to the questions, what I want you to talk about is, this is not a book about, if you want to wash your hair, wash it detangle it first, do this, do that, do that. That's not what it is. This book is quite special and quite different. So talk us through maybe 2 chapters. It's very easy to read as well. Well done on that. So for example, in fact, let me do this. I've just opened page 38 and it says, my hair thrives when I am consistent. And so it's a very short, I'm going to call it a little short
Affirmation. Mm-hmm.
Affirmation, a very short affirmation. And it says, the hair industry markets constant change. New miracle oils, new growth serums, new age revival products. But hair does not respond to trends. It responds to routine. Moisture, protect, low manipulation, clean scalp, gentle handling. These principles have never changed.
That's right.
Consistency builds retention. Retention shows length. Repeat. I follow one course of action. I stay steady. My hair thrives in consistency. And then you, as a prompt, you say, what part of my routine works best when I stick with it long term? Goodness gracious me. As in that, honestly, I really believe the Spirit led me to open that particular page. Absolutely. Because I'm going to repeat this to you guys. Because if you followed me long enough, even though I own a brand, I have said this to you in so many ways. That's right. I have said to you, I'm going to repeat this. The hair industry which is an industry that I am a part of.
Yeah.
Market constant change. New miracle oils. So what have we had in terms of miracle oils in the past? We've had shea butter. We've had rosemary oil. We now have botana oil. We've had castor oil. We've had peppermint oil. It sells new growth serums. I'm seeing a lot of growth serums these days. It sells new age revival products. But hair does not respond to trends. It responds to routine.
Yeah.
How you handle your hair, you've heard me say this, is always going to be more important than the products that you buy. Yeah. Tell us why you needed to say this. Because it's very loud. Absolutely. But I hope my people hear it.
Absolutely. I think the number one reason I needed to say this is that every time we get into any party, we get into church, everywhere we go, when they see the girls' big hair, as I lovingly call our hair when it's out there, they say, "What products? What products? What products?" And I say, no, I don't want to talk about products. It's not the products. It's the consistency. It's just doing whatever you know to do regularly without tying the hair up in braids or weave-ons or whatever, just letting the hair breathe and doing whatever it is you know to do it consistently and just let the hair be. And I remember one day my friend, I said that and she just gave me the eye. She was like, "Oh, there you go again.
You thought you were
lying." Yeah. Why are you telling me this? Just give me the name of the product. Like,
so I will share another example with you, and it's the same thing. So 2 days ago, many of you who follow me will know that in my story, one of the ladies from my first cohort, I started my hair course in 2019, and I think I had 11 people on my first hair course. One of the ladies shared a video of her child now, long hair, full, the length, like even me, I've achieved amazing things with my daughter's hair. My hair, from my age when I started and where I was able to take it to, I've achieved great things with my hair from where we started. But even me seeing Zara's hair, my jaw dropped because I was like, wow. Even the stylist that her mom took her to, I could see his face, like he was like, wow, what hair.
Yes.
And when she was putting it on her Instagram page, she tagged me, but she said, "It is not the products."
Yeah.
What is it that makes people in my community, even after everything that we know, still shy away from the knowledge and the consistency? What makes them believe that it is still the products or genetics? Now, don't get me wrong, because I will post today and you will see in my stories when I post later that I said, look, we are so hung up on growth products that we are missing a huge point in what products can also help us to achieve. That's so right. For me, formulating products has taken my hair game to the next level because wash day is easier because the products are right for my hair. Detangling is easier because the right ingredients are in the spritz.
Yes, that's right.
So it helps me manage my hair better. And because it's designed and formulated properly, the ease in which I handle my hair, products makes things easier now for me. There's no frustration. This is where products can help. Yeah. Products designed or formulated properly can add strength to your hair, help you manage your hair properly, help you extend moisture retention. But your hair is always growing. We don't need to be looking for growth products.
Absolutely.
But what people are not willing to do, and I don't even think it's the knowledge, because a lot of them now know that it's not the knowledge, because the knowledge is out there. what it is, and I'll be very honest this evening, what it is a lot of people are so attached to the visuals of braids and the instant gratification of the length that the added hair gives.
I was waiting for you to finish, and I think that we must certainly take this back to media. I think what it is that we want the sort of long straight hair, and then we want to come out of that long straight hair, the braids, the weaves, the weave-ons, and then we want to have nice big full black hair. That that we can't have both.
You can't.
We can't have both.
You can't.
And so I think that
wait. There will always be exceptions to the rule. There will always be the 5% who have just amazing genetics.
Yeah.
But that is not the average, and that is not most of us, and that certainly wasn't me.
And interesting you say that, because that 1% or 5% must certainly be my friend Kanene. I saw her on the call earlier. That woman, I have seen her in wigs, but when she lets out a hair, I'm like, girl, you need to leave it out every day. I love your hair. So yes, that number is so minute.
It is small.
Because I have more women instead come and say to me, I have lost all my edges. What do I do? So it is a very, very minimal number. Most of us cannot have our cake and eat it.
We can't. I couldn't.
Most of us can't, and that's just 100%. It. For me, my hair does not like tension. It's quite interesting, and it's the same with my two daughters. So, we were talking earlier about scrunchies.
Sorry, can you hold that thought a minute? Because you said something about your daughters earlier that I want to come to. You said you noticed in handling their hair that it is best for you to do their hair in chunkier twists than mini twists.
Yeah.
That is the same with my hair. My daughter's hair can withstand mini twists. Mine can never. I think people don't understand that enough, and maybe you will touch on that now, that we all have different characteristics of hair.
Yeah.
So my hair is thin. My hair cannot withstand too much tension. My hair does okay with heat, actually. So it's not, my hair doesn't fall apart with heat, but tension. But now that I am 49 practically in about 3 months, my hair cannot take braids anymore. It cannot really take weaves anymore. And that is because perimenopause has set in. I am older now. The hair thins as you age. And so what it could take in my 20s, it can't take now. So if I want a head of hair into my 70s, I need to adapt and change my practices.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Absolutely. And it's quite interesting. What I was actually about to say before ties very well into that. I was about to talk about the use of those scrunchies, those bubbles. So my first daughter, her hair, you would use, any type of scrunchie, any type of bubble, it will still thrive. The hair doesn't care. It just gets bigger and fuller. It doesn't care. But you see, when it came to my second daughter, and I started using the same scrunchies and the same bubbles on her, all the edges started to break. Everything was breaking, this child. And so it led me for both of them to find even softer bubbles, softer scrunchies, to use on their hair. And this is the thing, when we're constantly touching the hair, when we're constantly loving the hair, you will find ways of doing things. You will know that this is not working for me, so I check this other one out. No one has to tell you that. But when you're not even having an opportunity to touch the hair and love the hair and know the hair, then you don't get the opportunity to make changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I want to read another affirmation in the book. And again, I have just opened this random page. Oh, but it is like this book is speaking to me. And you know what? We're going to have to do a bit more with the book. So this random page is page 203. And it says, I release perfection and embrace steady progress. Perfection is loud, progress is quiet. Perfection wants instant length, perfect edges, perfect curl definition, perfect lighting. Progress asks different questions. Is my shedding reduced? Are my ends longer? Is my scalp healthier? Is my breakage decreasing? Hair grows on average about half an inch per month.
That's right.
That's roughly 6 inches per year. If retention is consistent,
That's right.
growth is unhurried
By
by
design.
design.
By design.
The hair growth cycle moves through phases: active growth, transition, resting, and shedding. Not every strand is in the same phase at the same time. That means fullness, thickness, and retention fluctuate naturally. Perfection ignores biology. Progress respects it.
That's
When
right.
we chase perfection, we overly manipulate. Excess heat, constant trimming, frequent product
Switch.
switching, over styling for social media approval, but hair responds best to rhythm, consistent hydration, moderate tension, predictable care. Wow.
Wow.
So in short, you have also diagnosed the, it's literally touching on the point that I highlighted.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
You have a 2-year-old, you want her to have shoulder length hair. How? And that is why you're putting it in shoulder length braids. You're not happy for your 2-year-old to just have 2 inches of hair because she's only been alive for how long?
Yeah.
You
And
know,
guess what? And guess what? It looks 2 inches, but actually it's even longer than that
but
because
even
of the
if it
nature of
is,
our
what's wrong
hair.
with that?
Yeah.
So you speak to the quest for perfection
Yeah.
being actually counterproductive to progress. And
Yeah.
I think that that is absolutely correct. I have decided this year, for example, that I am going to lay off heat for a little while. So I've not used heat at all this year. And that is because, some, you will hear me this evening and you will think I have it all together with my hair. There are still demons that I need to
Yeah.
conquer.
Yeah.
There's still me asking myself, why are you more comfortable when your hair is blow dried? Why do you prefer your hair when it's blow dried? I still have to challenge myself. And that is
Absolutely.
because I also recognize that I have been conditioned, that I am a part of a society that even within the natural hair care community believes that certain curls, if they appear in a particular way, looks better. Isn't that some of the, and maybe that this is a time to talk about Coco. Isn't that what Coco is experiencing? Some of you will accept that natural hair is fantastic, is great, but it must look a particular way. The
Mhm.
curls must fall in a particular way. We
Mhm.
must use so much product to get that definition. Why? And I think that that affirmation speaks to that, that
Yeah.
our hair does not need to be in constant performance for anybody.
No.
And that in all of us, we need to do some work in accepting it for what it is. That is what that is saying to me.
Absolutely. Our hair falls how it falls. And my own opinion of our hair is that our hair is regal. Our hair is just so beautiful in the way, in whatever way that it falls. I find that when I carry my hair, I have to come a certain way because my hair is already looking like much. It's looking beautiful. It's looking a lot. So I kind of have to follow that because my hair is talking. It's doing what it's made to do. It's taking up its own space. And very similar to you, last year I decided that, do you know what? I'm not gonna dye my hair throughout last year. I'm just gonna let it rest in black because actually I prefer both colors. I like both colors. And every time I ask my friends or anyone, "Oh, which one do you prefer?" I like both, and I'm the same. I like both. So sometimes I have it dyed this color, and other times I leave my black hair like I did the entire year because it's your decision. But the main thing is having our hair and having healthy hair, consistency in that hair, kind of getting to know who you are. For instance, everybody you see, and this is the reason why we've been so affected by this. Everybody you see, if I look in your face now, the next thing I notice is your hair. If I look in your eyes, if I turn to someone and look at them, the very next thing I notice is their hair. And this is the reason why for many years we've looked at media, even if we look at like children, it wasn't until very, very recently that, we had Black girls and Disney and all of that. Everything we look at, because we became aligned to the Western world, isn't it? A lot
That's
of
very
us,
true.
moved here. So what we constantly see, and you want to do what you see, you want to follow what you see all the time. So you move towards that,
Yeah,
and you don't realize that I have my own and I can love my own. I can care for my own.
absolutely.
I can be consistent with my own because it's
Absolutely.
mine,
Right.
And I think what a lot of us need is a decision. People need to make a decision. This is how I'm going to be. This is how my
Yeah,
child is going to be. And the generations coming, we owe that to them.
I agree.
That
Right.
is how
Let's
I'm
take
going to
some
let my
questions.
child be. Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Let's take some
Let's
questions.
do that.
What do you think about putting little ones in traditional cornrows, Diddy?
Okay. So traditional cornrows, I'm not against it, but for me personally, I don't do it because when I first started this whole thing, in fact, I thought about calling myself the lazy natural. I just want an easy,
Yeah.
simple life. Anything that has to do with cornrows, tangle the hair. So I tried it once, I did it for them, and the hair came out totally tangled, and I can't deal with that. I want the easy life. Natural hair made simple, natural hair easy. That's me. So I'm not against it, but it won't be for me or my family because it's not simple enough, and it tangles our hair.
Okay. So I'll give my answer. I think it depends on your child's hair. So, very similar to what Anna has said. Many of you will remember that maybe about 2 years ago, you saw me in that exact Diddy hairstyle. I did it at least 3 different times. And I stopped doing it because it led to too much tangles and it broke my hair too much. That is, however, for specific reasons. It's the characteristics of my hair. My hair is thin, and my hair is longish. It's longish because some people, when I say my hair is long, some say your hair is not that long. How long is your hair? My hair is longish. It's longishy, longer than a lot of your hair. And so therefore, at the length of my hair, putting it in intricate cornrows or even the diddy, because it's three interlocked, going down, pressing down, it's a bit too much for my hair. So I stopped doing that. However, if your child has extremely thick hair, coarse hair strands, thick hair strands, it may work for them. You may find that if you lightly blow dry and you put it in that diddy, there's minimum to no breakage. So I think you have to go by it. But for exactly the reasons that Hannah said, I have opted to stop doing that. It doesn't mean that I will never do it again, but I have chosen to not do it anymore because I notice more breakage with my hair.
Yeah. And another thing is that the girls can go on and do it for themselves. But while I'm helping them with their hair and I'm involved, I'm also not interested because I don't have
Because
the
you don't want to be
time.
dealing with that.
I don't want to be dealing with that. So
Exactly. Right. Another question. And this is I would love you to take this one first because it's a reoccurring problem. People sign up to my hair course, and this is an area they struggle with a lot. The detangling, the tangling is very frustrating and discouraging for me. So maybe Anna, you can give maybe 3 tips to keep tangling at bay. I think for me, you mentioned the key one, which is the style in which they wear.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, you know how they say that in the morning you have to get ready from the night before. This is the thing. If you're trying to avoid detangling, in my own
Is it young
opinion,
people that do this?
I know, right?
Because as you're saying that, I'm doing this.
Clock it.
Clock it.
Yeah, you have to start from when you do the hairstyle. You know, what hairstyle am I doing at this point in time that actually avoids detangling? If you do a 3-strand, you know, braid out detangle, I'll give you an example. So it was my mom's 80th some time ago, and the girls they went to see their cousins in Canada, and so they got into this thing where they started braiding their hair at Christmas. So on about the 17th of December, I braided their hair. And to be honest with you, it was even twist. And I used tubs of leave-in conditioner, spray, whatever. I used loads on it.
Yeah.
And we took it out within 3 weeks. 10th of January, we took it out. And I thought I'll get this lovely, you know, twist out and all that for mom's birthday. And we took out the hair. Some of my friends were here. We took out the hair. This hair, I kid you not, was bone dry and tangled.
Yeah.
Bone dry. No moisture had sunk into those braids. And it was tangled. So that night, 10 p.m., I had to start again, detangle, moisturize everything, and try and, you know, get that hair the way that I wanted it for the next day for mom's birthday. So this is what happens. You need to think about. Of course, the hair also, there was a lot of breakage. So of course the girls have said we're not interested in braiding anymore if this is what it does to our hair, because it turned out to be some kind of experiment for us. You know, where the
And
girls
that's
were able to
okay,
see.
because sometimes
It's
that's how
okay.
you learn what works and what
Absolutely.
doesn't work.
Absolutely. And they would never have got to see that if we had done what we usually do. But because we needed the hair the next day to look a certain way, what we wanted, and it wasn't doing that, the girls saw that. They saw the breakage, they saw everything. So back to the question, it's about what style are you putting in order to get the results you want to get to. You
Yes.
know. And then
Yes.
the second thing as well is when I take out the hair, before I touch the hair, I need to put something in, whether it's my leave-in conditioner, detangler. I need to put something into the hair, different parts of the hair. I part it, I put what I need to put, and then the hair is soft enough. And this is after we have been moisturizing daily.
Yeah.
That's another thing that helps with the detangling. We're moisturizing daily with light leave-in conditioner and a light oil. You know, the girls are using it daily, and so by the time we come to take out that hair, and I use sort of thicker leave-in conditioner, you know, a little bit of a thicker oil and everything, the hair is easy to manipulate. Yeah, so
Okay.
those are my tips, really.
So if I was to give you tips on how to manage tangles, I start with the first one, how you styling the hair, exactly as Anna did. So pay attention to how you're styling the hair. In my experience, and for the hundreds of women that I have now hair coached, honestly, putting your hair in 2-strand twists, whether it's this big or a little bit smaller than this, I would say make it a little bit smaller than this for your children. Honestly, it means that when it comes to detangling, you're spending less time detangling. It doesn't get a chance to tangle on itself. I would say some of you complain about tangles, but you let your children run around with their afro out. And, you know, I am not against wearing afro out. I want to see some of your children with their afro out, but they can't wear their hair like that a lot of the times, or to
Yeah,
school where
go
they're
to
playing
sleep.
or go to sleep with their hair like that
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah.
And as Anna said, I will keep on top of moisturizing. I will keep the hair mostly in a stretched state,
Yeah.
and I would use decent products
Yeah.
as well. Now, there is a great question, and this may be our last question in the that we take this evening, unless another one comes in. And the question is about a 17-year-old, and I think this is always going to be a little bit tricky. So the question is, I'm just trying to read the question. My daughter just turned 17 and the pool of wigs and weaves is getting worse. I understand. Meanwhile, her hair hates even braids. How do I style her hair? She thinks it's beyond twist. Help. So from that question I get, you've got a 17-year-old, the pool of weaves, wigs, braids is getting stronger and stronger. She doesn't just want to twist her natural hair anymore. Anna, your daughter hasn't hit that age. Mine is closer to that age because mine is going to be 19 in 2 months' time. So, but let you take that question, and I'll take that question as well.
This is a big one for me because, of course, all the teenagers around me, my nieces, they see what we do and they're like, oh, I want to do it, and it's in this book as well. The challenge, I say to them, I don't want you guys to, I don't know if I jokingly say, some of them might not remember, I say to people our age, I jokingly say Ikemji. I don't want you to carry your hair around like Ikemji. I don't know if you remember the series that we used to watch years, yes, and years ago. I think she had her hair, that's not the point of this whole, thing. The point of this thing is that you care for your hair, you're consistent about it, and you find something pretty, classy that works for you, that you love. You also need to consider where you're going every day, for instance. Are you going to the office? Are you going to the school? Are you going to uni? So if I look at, I've commented on your hair today, for instance. If I look at your hair, you've put in a few twists. And this is exactly what you have in your hair today is what I've done with the girl's hair today to church, whereby we took the scrunchies on at the roots of their twist out. The twist was 6, and we made it into another style, as they went to church. So they had we put it, round whatever, we could have slicked, we could have had it back, because this is what you have when you have about 6 to 8 twists. You can manipulate it, you can sort of move it around your head for whatever classy style you like. But this is a challenge. Teenagers, you're not going to ask us. We're only a bridge for what you guys are going to do in the future. You're not going to ask us what style you're going to make. You guys are the ones in vogue, in time, you're teenagers. You're going to start finding your styles. This is a challenge that I have given to all the teenagers around me. You need to start finding your styles. My daughter, when she edited the book, and this is a girl that's always known about her hair, loved her hair, people come around her and, comment on her hair and all of that. When she edited the book, she seemed to find a fresh interest in her hair. Mommy, I found the style I want to do for my birthday. I've done this. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to have it like this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take care of it like this. Just from editing the book, I'm like, wow, amazing. But the key thing about this is that the girls need to start finding their own styles. I mean, I've already said, if you twist it into 6 or whatever, similar to what Titi has on today, you can put it into whatever style that you like. It's protected, but it can still go into a nice, classy style.
Okay, so I have a 19-year-old and I really, really understand this question very well. My answer is going to be slightly different. I think that, and this is where I would really love to challenge parents, and I really hope that they reflect on what I'm going to say this evening. Between the ages of 0 to the age of maybe about 12, you have so much freedom with your child's hair.
Yeah.
They are not bothered, they're not worried, it's only a very particular 10-year-old that will be dictating to, and there are some, but many of them don't care. However, once they hit 13, 14, 15, and the age that you mentioned now, 17, is really crucial. They start wanting to experiment. And you are absolutely right. I remember when my daughter was 17, she said to me that you don't understand that everyone on TikTok has weaves, and some of these weave companies are sending it to these children. They're sending it to 15-year-old, 16-year-old for free.
Wow.
Because they will wear it and then they will promote it for them. So my daughter definitely was in that bracket of, she didn't want to look like her mother anymore. She wanted to look like a baddie.
Yeah.
Like, let's not mince words. The baddies are not wearing natural hair. It's unfortunate, but that is the truth. The baddies are not wearing natural hair, right?
But where we need to get to is be a baddie with natural hair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so we have been on a journey, even with my daughter.
Yeah.
So you guys, I've been very transparent with you. I had to let go of my daughter's hair, and many of you will have to let go of your daughter's hair. And I think 17 is the age to let go. Let them. And I say that for one crucial reason. You don't own their head or their hair.
No.
They have full autonomy over themselves. They should have full autonomy over their hair. At the age of 17, if they want to do braids, let them do the braids. If they want to do weaves, let them do the weaves. The only thing you can ride on is what my friend said to me the other day. Train your child in the way of the Lord, and they will not depart from it. If you have given them and you have invested enough in their hair and their hair is thriving, give them the freedom to do the braids and the weaves. They will depart from your words, but they will come back to it. They will come back to it when, like my daughter, they notice that there's a patch hair and there's a patch hair, and now the hair is not as long as it used to be, because all of that happened to my daughter. Many of you know my daughter's long hair. That, you know, she had waistline hair at one point, but the weaves and the braids did their damage.
Yeah,
and now nobody told my daughter. My daughter announced this year that she's not braiding her hair this year. She's not doing any weaves this year. And guess what my daughter has started doing? She has started learning styles so that she can be the natural hair baddie.
Yeah.
So you guys saw me with the you saw me with the slicked back bun. Right now, of course, if I was to go at things with a very purist, I would say even the buns with the gel is a bit much, but we gotta relax. We can't be too purist because they're finding their ways. When I was 17, no one was telling me what to do with my hair. I shaved my hair, I dyed it blonde, I did all sorts to my hair. My daughter needs to enjoy that freedom. She did have that freedom. Now she has realized that that freedom comes with a level of damage. So she's reined it in. So she's learning to style her hair. And yes, she may still get it wrong, but it's her hair. The point is, she knows and she has seen the potential of her hair. Nobody can have hair like that and just relax and see it rest. But they have to experiment. They have to enjoy their hair. Their hair is not your hair. You focus on your hair when they get to that age.
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, they've come to an age making a decision and they have to make the decision. Yeah.
They do. And it's painful because it's taken me, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a pain point for me because I invested a lot in that hair. I saw it thriving, and now you are wrecking my masterpiece. But I had to realize that was now an ego on my part because it wasn't my hair, and I had to step back. And thank God I have hair on my head. I focus on my hair, and I leave her.
Absolutely. And you know, something keeps coming to mind as you've been speaking. I was when I was in Australia the other day, there's this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little girl. Her mom said to me that she said to her, and that's I think that's page 11. Her mom said to me that she said to her, "Mommy, our hair grows tall." You know, and her mom is Caucasian. Her dad is Nigerian. And she said our hair grows tall, and so that's something that we must accept. The way the hair on our head grows, it's different from other races. The more we accept our hair for what it is, the more we can be consistent, the more we can find styles, and first and foremost, the more we will make that decision, to
Fantastic.
just love it, to just fall in love with it every day,
Every day.
every day.
Well, look, this has been a fantastic live. I am so sorry to bring it to an end, but I want to invite you again if you would accept, because I think there's a lot more that we can talk about. So I'd love to have you back on a live, maybe in about 3 months' time,
Yeah,
when I've had
yeah,
a
that's
chance
true.
to finish reading the book
I
for sure.
know, I
But
know.
before we go, I want to leave you with the last words.
Yeah.
For a mum that is maybe struggling, or for anybody that is struggling, please, where can they start? And aside from that, what is the last thing that maybe we haven't covered that you wish to impart on everybody this evening?
Okay. So in terms of where they can start, I think that I've touched on it quite a few times this evening. You need to start with a decision. You can't, as much as possible, you can't have one leg in, one leg out, maybe not. You'll frustrate yourself, because I've
Yeah,
had some people ask me over and over again the next time you see me, they'll
yeah,
ask the same question. And the
yeah.
next time you see me, they'll ask the same question. You just have to start. So start. Now, secondly, when you start, wash it often. I know that a lot of us didn't grow up with washing our hair. Wash it whenever you can. Wash it in 2 weeks. Wash it in 3 or 4 if that's all you can manage. What I find is that by the first end of the first, maybe the second week, you need to take it out. If you're
Yeah.
not washing it, you need to re-moisturize
Absolutely.
it, and then you need to
Without
put
a doubt.
it back into that twist again. And
Yeah,
then in about another week or so, you can
yeah.
then wash it.
Wash it. Yeah.
Now, the reason why for my daughters, I don't have that sort of energy to wash it every single week is because it takes time for the moisture to actually get into the hair. Which brings me to the next thing: moisturize daily. It's very easy. I just put some leave-in conditioner. I use Titi. The girls use the ones that you send your products as well. They love it, absolutely love it. So conditioning spray. Sometimes I just have a conditioner in a bottle, water, shake, 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 spray it on. A light oil. Titi's oil was great for that as well. A light oil, moringa, canola, whatever. Just seal in the leave-in conditioner and go every day. Now, something that is absolutely key is if you have a style on your head that you like. Now, I know that people can use satin bonnets, they can use satin pillowcases,
Mm-hmm.
and they can have a satin scarf. Our
Mm-hmm.
preference in our own household is satin scarves. The reason why our preference is the satin scarf is because it sets the style.
It does set the sun.
It sets the style. They take it off in the morning again,
Yeah.
they moisturize it, they put it back on, and at
Yes.
that point it does two things. It sets the style, and when they put their jumpers or whatever on their hair, it doesn't
Yeah.
disrupt their hair. So
Yeah.
it does two things at that point. So that's another thing you can do. Now, when you've washed it and you've moisturized it, at that point you're moisturizing with leave-in conditioner, whatever moisturizer you have, maybe a shea butter based moisturizer, whatever moisturizer you have, and then you're putting it into twist, you're doing your style. And at that point, what you want to be doing is protecting the roots, which I spoke about. And you protect the roots by moisturizing often. You don't let it dry out, the hair, and you're protecting the tips. So similar to, again, what Titi has on today, if you don't need the tips and the ends out, don't leave it out because
Exactly.
it dries from the tips. Our hair
Exactly.
dries from the, put it in those styles, put it in. And on days you want it out, then leave it out. And that's absolutely fine. So the things I've spoken about, rinse and repeat, honestly, natural hair made simple.
Okay. So final word, I want it to be on mindset. I know you said, and I agree with you. You have to make a decision and stick with that decision, right? It's just like when people sign up to my course. I say, just give me 6 months with you. It's not 3 months. Give me 6 months with you, and let's see. If you don't notice any change, go back to your mad ways. I don't have that. I don't say that, but you guys know. But I want you to also, so making a decision, I 100% agree with you. You can't be chopping, or listening to all the noise all over the place. But a final, is there anything that you wanted to share that you haven't had the opportunity to impart on us this evening? And it could be a mindset thing. Because I personally believe that, unfortunately, the barrier for most people is mindset.
Yeah.
It's not the knowledge, it's not the how, it's the mindset.
Yeah.
So is there anything on mindset that might help people along?
I think one of the things that is important to mention about mindset is that for us Black people, we've had a pretty rough road in so many areas, but we have fallen back in love with ourselves over and over again in many different ways. With our skin, I remember again when
Even
I
with
was
our
young.
music.
Even with our music, there's so many areas we've had to fall back in love with ourselves. I remember when I was young, we used to hear about, a lot of aunties who were trying to bleach their skin and all of those kind of things. And we had mishaps, even with children trying to get, a different color of skin. Why do I not look like that person? Now, in the most part, it appears that we have overcome that. We've come to fall in love with ourselves, like you say, our music in so many areas. We need to do the same with our hair. We need to fall in love with our hair. As I've said before, I personally feel that our hair is regal, the way it looks about us. The way that everybody, all of the races, when we have our hair out there, my children's hair, when they can see it, everyone looks, is this her hair? We have to. For me, and let me just chip this in there. One of the things I will say is that I felt quite embarrassed, really, that we had learned all this wonderful things about ourselves, but not about our hair. There was a day I was with one of my mentors, Sila Lee, of HTB, and I had on a weave. This must have been, who knows, about 20 years ago or something. We were in London and I had on a long weave. And she looked at the hair and she was like, "Oh, I didn't know that your hair was this long." And she was touching the weave. And my spirit just dropped because it wasn't my hair. It wasn't my hair. And this was my mentor, somebody I loved. I would have liked her to actually be seeing my own hair. So some of this incidents, just made me feel like I need to just love my God-given hair for what it is. For what it is.
Thank you so much. This has been a beautiful and enjoyable life for me. We're definitely like-minded on this. I am going to reiterate what you said about we need to learn to fall in love with our hair again. I think it is actually at the crux of it. But I also want to add one more thing to that. When you learn to fall in love with your hair truly, everyone around you will know, because you would also wear your hair out a bit more. And I'm not saying you will wear it out exclusively. Please, I am not saying everybody must wear their hair exclusively natural or, but you will not feel compelled to have it covered, whether in weaves or wig or braids all of the time. And then I will also leave you with this, that when you do fall in love with it and you learn to wear it, let's just say for half of the time, so 50% of the time you wear your own hair out, you will find that there is a different confidence. There is a difference in how you walk into a room.
That's right.
There is a difference in your countenance.
Yeah.
There's an ease. There is a no. Truly, there is a power about it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it's almost spiritual.
Yeah. It is
I'm gonna
spiritual.
say I am gonna say
It
I
is
am actually
spiritual.
I'm gonna say it is spiritual.
It is spiritual. Yeah.
Because at that point, it's almost like you are walking. You know, on my private page, I said just yesterday that how we relate to God is how we relate to people. You cannot divorce the two.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I link it to hair. That when you learn to love your hair and you wear it, sometimes that is how you will present to God, because you are presenting as your full and true self. And there is power in that.
Yeah, that's right.
There is power in that. And I only somebody that knows or has walked the walk will get it. If you're not there yet, I truly hope you get there someday. But I promise you that learning to love your hair, being able to look into the mirror and seeing the hair that grows out of your hair, and being able to say, with this hair, I am beautiful. With this hair, I am complete. With this hair, I am whole. With this hair, I do not need any extra. When you can look at yourself and see that beauty, there's something powerful about that. I can't explain it beyond.
Absolutely. 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 No, it's unexplainable. You're right.
It is unexplainable. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this time. Have a lovely week ahead. And for everybody watching, thank you. I'm so sorry about the technical glitch in the beginning.
Absolutely.
But I hope that you've enjoyed the live. And thank you
Thank
guys.
you so
I can
much,
see people
everyone.
saying thank you to you. And agreeing as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Sorry
Good
about
night,
that.
everyone.
Thank you.
I'm going to share the live so people can share it on if they want to as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
you so much. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you, Anna.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Ruphi Curls, inspiring Black girls all over the world to fall in love with their natural hair.